Are you wasting your evenings scrolling TikTok or Netflix? Because that was me years ago. I was unhappy in my job and I was just feeling drained every day after work. But I wanted to change my life. So I started new habits, new routines, and it allowed me to learn YouTube, which eventually gave me the freedom to quit my job as a doctor. But even today, with a new baby at home, I'm still able to get smaller bursts of meaningful work in the evenings before I spend time with family. So if you want to get more out of your evenings, like learn a new skill or work on your business, then you can just copy what I did right here. And if you find this topic helpful, give this video a like so I know to make more of the same. We're looking at the big picture here. Let's say that you're 25 years old. That means that you have about 1,800 evenings left until you're 30, or, insert whatever age you are here. But that's about how long it takes to change your life. Now think about it. That's not a whole lot of evenings, but it's up to you whether you want to make them count or waste them away. They say that your 9 to 5 keeps your life running, but it's actually what you do during your 5 to 9 that changes your life. That's why the very first step is to take your evenings seriously, because we need to know exactly when our productive evening starts. And that is something called a shutdown routine. So I first learned this from Cal Newport in his book, Deep Work. So the way that it works is that I set an evening alarm on my phone to indicate the end of my workday. So the moment that I hear it go off, I wrap up what I'm doing and I'll just go into my work Slack or work Discord or group chat, wherever it is that you communicate with your work, and I'll post the end of day updates to whoever needs to see it. That tells my brain to close all the open loops and lingering tasks and just kind of wrap up the day. And now my brain is free to work on my evening goals. So up until I use this shutdown routine, I never really switched modes. Like I would leave work physically, but I'm still mentally at work. But then I started to take this seriously. And it's just a small action too, right? It's not something big. It's just setting an alarm on your phone. But this created this whole routine for me. Maybe it involves Slack messages for you. Maybe it's writing tomorrow's to-do list. Maybe it's just shutting down your computer. Whatever it is, the key is that you want to do it the exact same way every night so that it becomes a habit. That's your starting point. That's the moment that your evening officially begins. And once you've cleared that space, you get to decide how to use it. Now, this is where the framework of needs and duties comes in. And I got this framework from Dr. K. He's a psychiatrist from Stanford. But understanding this framework makes it just so obvious why most people fail to change their lives after work. So what's the difference between needs and duties? Needs are the things that if you don't do them, there are severe consequences. For example, if I don't show up to work, then I lose my job. If I don't pay my bills, then I get evicted. If I don't study enough, then I fail my classes. So needs are urgent. You can't ignore them without your life just falling apart. On the other hand, we have duties. Duties are different. If you skip them, then nothing really happens immediately. There's no instant penalty. But here's the important part. Duties are the things that actually level up your life. So these are things like learning high income skills that can open new opportunities for you, or exercising to keep up with your health, like getting in your 10,000 steps per day, or, starting a side hustle or working on your business. For me, a duty was learning how to make better YouTube videos. Duties don't scream for your attention, but they're the difference between staying stuck and building the future that you actually want. And the reason why I'm emphasizing duties so much is because your evenings are where your duties live. So after work, once the needs of your day are all handled, you make this little block of time where no one is forcing you to do anything. That's your window for your duties. But it's up to you. You can either fill that time with distractions, which keeps your life the same, or you can fill it with duties, which compound over weeks and months into real change. So the question becomes, how do you actually make sure that your evenings are filled with duties and not just wasted on mindless stuff? Well, that's where you need structure to come in. So let me show you how I added structure to my evenings to make sure that I was actually making progress every night. So the biggest mistake that I made with my evenings is to just wing it. But that's a really bad idea. Like I would just come home, I would eat dinner, then I would sit on the couch and think, okay, maybe I'll work on YouTube tonight. But the problem is that I don't have a structured plan. So I would just go on YouTube, I'd look up random videos, about how to monetize. And then an hour later, I'm watching like stand-up comedy clips on YouTube or something. And that's my entire evening just gone. So even though I was motivated to get things done, I was still just spinning my wheels and wasting my time because I had no clear structure, no clear strategy on what I should be prioritizing. So that's what you want to avoid doing at all costs. Don't approach your evenings with this vague idea of, oh, I should work on my side hustle tonight, but have no clear strategy. So the turning point for me was when I was talking to one of my coworkers at work who was going back to school to get a second degree. And she talked about how she would spend her evenings doing homework alongside her kids. But basically what she said is that the entire family just has one big hour where they all do homework together right before dinner. And from hearing her story, it made me realize that, damn, I need homework too. Like if I'm gonna take this YouTube thing seriously, like a second degree, then I needed structured assignments. So I bought a YouTube course. All of a sudden, every night I had a specific assignment to do, whether it was watch this lesson or practice this skill or upload this video. It gave me momentum because I never had to ask, what should I be doing tonight? And the way I see this is that if I'm gonna learn something new and something important, I'm either going to pay with my time or pay with my money. And since I didn't have a whole lot of time to just spend aimlessly, I wanted to pay with my money and learn from someone who had already accomplished what I wanted to achieve. And they were just laying out a roadmap in front of me for me to just follow. So because of this, I ended up moving way faster after following this course. So for you, try to get some structure into your evenings. It could be a course, it could be a coach, it can be a community that gives you homework. The point is, structure creates progress. Even if you only spend like 15 minutes a night working on it, progress is still progress. And by the way, if you're looking for that kind of structure for growing your YouTube channel, making an extra stream of income, then that's exactly what we teach. We coach you, we hold your hand, keep you accountable, and walk you through the exact steps that we took to quit our jobs as doctors and build a profitable YouTube channel. Check the links below if you're serious about working with us. Now, even with structure, you're still going to be tempted to doom scroll, right? I mean, everyone does. But the trick here isn't to eliminate doom scroll completely. Instead, you want to turn it into something useful. Because what does wasting your time on social media have in common with doing research and learning? Well, they both involve scrolling, but the difference is your intention. But let's be real, you're going to scroll. I know it, you know it, but here's the thing, right? Scrolling isn't the enemy. It's mindless scrolling. That's the enemy. So what I did was reframe scrolling time into research and homework time. I wasn't scrolling to numb my brain. I was scrolling to learn the platform of YouTube. I was studying my niche. I was studying hooks, studying thumbnails, studying titles, and I was looking at how other creators were building their businesses. But what worked really well for me was to create an inspo bank. So I create playlists on my YouTube account, and I would name a playlist thumbnails. I would name another playlist good ideas, titles. And so when I'm scrolling and doing research and I see a thumbnail that really grabs my attention, I'll save that video to the thumbnail playlist, which would then become my idea bank for future videos. And even if you're not working on a YouTube channel like me, maybe you're researching how to get better at job interviews or researching how to learn a new skill, the key to making this work is to be intentional. When you pick up your phone, you've got to know whether you're in research mode or you're in relax mode. And if you need some strict boundaries to follow, then just follow the 80-20 rule. You want to reserve 80% of your scrolling time for research and learning, and then save 20% for entertainment and fun. That way, you're still enjoying the platform, but most of your time is actually pushing your life forward. But of course, even if you know exactly what you should be doing, it's still easy to fall off if you don't anchor it to a routine. So that's where the next tip about habit building really comes into play. Building new habits actually became really easy once I learned all of this. So before, when I'd try to work on my YouTube channel, my plan was to work on YouTube after dinner. Well, when after dinner? An hour after dinner? 5 minutes after dinner? I needed to know what, when, and where. I had to make this habit more specific. And so I learned about this technique called habit stacking from Atomic Habits by James Clear. And it's pretty simple. You anchor a new habit onto an existing habit that you already do automatically. And the habit that I was already doing automatically was that I do the dishes after dinner. My new habit became every night after I close the dishwasher, I will open my laptop and work on my next assignment in my YouTube course. I had to get super specific on exactly what habit was triggering the next habit and then stack them together. So think about something that you already do every single night without fail. Maybe taking off your shoes, doing the dishes, making tea, and then once you figure that out, you want to link your new work session directly after doing that thing. And that one tweak will make your routine so much harder to skip. Now, aside from all these habits and routines, we still need to talk about the biggest challenge in most people's evenings, and that is your energy level. Because without energy, you can't focus. So let's look at some high-level science here, because I think it's really going to help you understand your energy. So our bodies go through these cycles of high and low energy. You may have already heard of circadian rhythms, and that's when you go in these cycles of REM sleep and then deep sleep, and it just cycles through. Well, in the daytime, this is called ultradian rhythms, and it's pretty much the same idea. These cycles are about 90 minutes long. If you can map out when you're in that pocket of focus, that's when you can get your work done. So for example, most people, we usually feel a natural slump from like 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., like right after dinner. But most people also get a spike of energy from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then after that, the body starts winding down for bed. But obviously it's a little different for everyone. So take notice of how your energy fluctuates throughout the day and throughout the evening. And then you want to plan your work within a pocket of energy. And a pro tip here is that sometimes, or some people, may not have that pocket of energy in the evening, but they might have that pocket of energy early in the morning. So what you could do is you can go to sleep earlier and then wake up earlier and try to get in some work that way. But the big picture here is instead of fighting your body, work with it. You don't really need that much time either. Most people think you need to grind away like 5-6 hours every single night to succeed. And if you can, then great. But 90 minutes a night is plenty enough, and that's what I did. So when you hit that window, just lock in. Now, what if, let's say, you feel tired every evening, all evening? If you had a long day at work or at school, then of course you're going to be tired. But for most people, it's a mental fatigue. You've been thinking all day, you've been problem solving all day, and you're just mentally exhausted. What you don't want to do is to worsen your mental fatigue by numbing your brain with phone time or screen time. Focus instead on moving your body. Go for a short walk, or do some stretching, or do some breathing exercises. Move your body and let that blood flow kind of energize you. Because if you're like me, then you probably sat at a desk and worked at a computer all day long. But once your brain has some time to recover, then you can get to work. All right, so let's put all these tools together to make it more practical for you. So here's what a typical night might look like for me. I'd get home, usually around like 6 p.m. I'm usually very exhausted from a long day at work. I'll sit down on the couch and just close my eyes and then just breathe in through my nose, out through my mouth. And I just let my thoughts kind of wander so that my brain can recover. And then shortly after, my shutdown alarm will go off. So I will write a quick message in the team chat, right, to kind of summarize and wrap up my day. And then I'll go eat dinner, go get the mail, do the dishes. And then after I close the dishwasher, I open my laptop and I work on my next YouTube assignment. And that'll take something like 45 minutes to an hour. And then I spend the next 30 minutes kind of scrolling and studying videos in my niche. And then by that time, it's like 8 p.m. So I'll either play some video games or I'll watch Netflix with my girlfriend, and then we'll get ready for bed. And that's kind of a typical night as I was trying to completely change the trajectory of my life. All of that sounds simple, almost boring even, but the point is that you don't want to just wing it. You want to have a structured plan to follow every night. And you want to try to do it in the exact same way every single night for as many nights as you can. See how long of a streak you can go for. And if you break a streak, then follow the 2-day rule. Missing one day is fine, but do not go 2 days in a row of missing your work, because that's the start of a new habit. Now, what we've seen work really well, especially for our students, is to use a tracker, some kind of tracking system. We have plenty of Notion templates that you can check out that will help you organize your work and manage your projects. And we also have a Notion template designed specifically for content creation. So if that's something that you're getting into, then check the links below. But once you get all of this workflow going, you're gonna notice something amazing. These evenings aren't just about checking off tasks. Every time you sit down, and you do the work, you're casting a vote for the person that you want to become. When I was still starting out on YouTube, I felt like an imposter. Nobody was watching my videos, but every night I just kept showing up night after night. And each time I was proving to myself that I am a creator. And those small votes every night, they add up. They built this whole identity shift that eventually gave me the confidence and the skills to quit medicine and go all in on YouTube and my business. And the same thing applies for you. Maybe you don't have a job and you're looking for one, or maybe you're in a job but you want to leave, or maybe you just want financial freedom. Whatever your goal is, you don't become that future self in just one big leap. You become it one evening at a time. Now, you might be wondering, why did I choose YouTube as my side hustle, right? Why not something else? Well, I believe that YouTube is the strongest compounding asset that you can possibly build. Your content library can serve as your public resume. It can make you easier to hire if your content shows your skills. It can drive more leads and sales if you run a business. It can also become an extra stream of income with AdSense revenue and sponsorships. It can also build your personal brand and open new opportunities. YouTube has done all of the above for me. It's completely changed my life, as long as you approach it with the right strategy and the right monetization. For me, I did not go for entertainment videos like Mr. Beast or, gaming channels. What I did was going for this kind of talking head style, educational content, videos with the goal of helping others solve specific problems. So if you have prior knowledge or prior skills, then use it to start a YouTube channel. You can check out a complete roadmap on how you can change your life with YouTube in the next 6 months by checking out this video right here.